Hey friends, welcome back to OG Universe. Thank you so much for stopping by and taking a look at this video. Today we are continuing our look at the brand new McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Justice League Task Force Build to Connect Darkseid figure. We're looking at this entire wave. We just did The Flash. He's on our DC Multiverse playlist. There's also a very cool, well, I'm going to say cool because I really enjoyed filming it. Um, Flash short that has all my flashes plus some reverse flashes and a couple other guest appearances. But that's on the DC Multiverse playlist as well. But today we are looking at Aquaman. Yes, Aquaman, King of the Seven Seas, Arthur Curry. And this is definitely a different take on Aquaman that I really appreciate. We got a lot of things going on with this entire wave of figures. It's kind of like a very contested, I hate it, I don't like it, I'm gonna buy it, but do customizing on it. I hate the pixelization. But man, I have been extremely impressed with the two figures that I've reviewed so far. And this Aquaman, man, it is impressive. And I have quite a few Aquaman figures in my collection that'll make an appearance later on, as well as a special guest star from another toy line. But this Aquaman, well, before we dive into my thoughts and opinions on Aquaman, we'll take a look at the packaging, what you get, and then we'll deep dive into the King of the Seven Seas. So, the packaging is your standard DC Multiverse oversized box. You got some nice artwork, kind of generic though. Feels like a 90s piece of artwork of the entire wave, and of course the Darkseid figure you're building, the pieces you need and where they go, who they come with, the cross sell at the bottom. I really appreciate this bright Justice League Task Force emblazed logo on the side spine of the packaging. It looks great. I really appreciate that. On the inside, you have some trading card artwork, display stand. Now you're also getting these pieces to build your Darkseid. You're getting a very cool looking head sculpt. I'm really digging this Darkseid color scheme. It's a lot darker blue. I love it. The original did have a bit of a lighter tone of blue, plus a bit more of a tribute to the superpowers action figures from the 80s. Still an interesting, a pretty damn good figure. Didn't make my top 10 list, but I don't know. Hopefully, this one has some improvements that the other figure that was released, that mega size figure of Darkseid, was lacking. So we'll see. Got the hands, the head, and you get these effect pieces, which I think could be kind of fun. I really don't. I rather prefer some extra hands, to be honest with you. This is one time I'd prefer some hands over some effect pieces like this. But yeah, and one thing I will point out, the Aquaman figure was packaged very nicely in here. They tried their best. McFarlane, you are trying, but man, try a little harder because the way they positioned the trident in the packaging, they try to keep it as straight as possible. Mine still came bent and warped, unfortunately. But it is improving. It's kind of like with Marvel Legends, the Wolverine claws. Man, sometimes those claws are bent so badly, and sometimes they're perfectly segmented and look great. So, hit and miss, keep trying. We'll get there eventually. But this Aquaman, mm, I'm really digging the aesthetics on this figure. I know a lot of people hate this digitalization on the figure for the kind of Super Nintendo look, but it's done so well here. And it's not some glaring, oh my God, this looks horrible, faded out logo kind of thing. This just looks spectacular. In fact, I'm going to open this up a little bit, bring it in. A lot of people are polarized by this head sculpt. I love it. To me, this is such a snarly looking Aquaman. The hair is so reminiscent of Lino. I love it. I love it. It's just like, let's take it to the extreme. Let's push the kind of limits of Aquaman under the water. And man, it just looks awesome. Plus the detail paint job on the figure. You got these varying tones of orange, gold highlights, some brown. It looks fantastic, as well as the green. It's a nice dark saturated green with pops of lighter green for highlighting effects. Now that looks great. Plus, you get the A logo, which I haven't really seen. We've seen the A logo, very Atlantean, kind of like an ornate, kind of ornament, so to speak. But this is like your classic A, kind of like your superpowers, your very aesthetic, kind of superhero-ish, not so embellished. It looks good. I really like it. The trident, like I said, it was a little bit warped, but it's not too bad. But I just don't like this trident. We've seen it so many times. Let's get a new trident out there. I've seen of course, the Page Puncher Aquaman line was awesome. It had so many cool tridents in that entire wave of figures. But let's see something a little different, guys, and the paints as well. Oh my goodness, this plasticky yellow is just really not fitting this figure. The figure is painted so well, so many great embellishments, so much beautiful detailed sculpt work on the scales as well. But man, I just missed the mark on this color. But we can fix it. Toy surgery, you can repaint it, no problem. But yeah, let's take a closer look at this head sculpt. He has such a snarl about him. And I just think it looks so cool with the hair blowing in the water, I guess, flowing, floating. It just looks awesome. And it's just such a different look for Aquaman. We've had the bearded Aquaman, though, Jason Momoa Aquaman. We haven't had a long-haired Aquaman without the beard. I appreciate this. This is something different. And we've had that short hair Aquaman from the digital wave with kind of a polarizing head sculpt as well. People hated it, loved it. You know, two different head sculpts, a smiling, kind of goofy face and a little more stern. But man, this one, I think this might be my absolute favorite next to that top 10 JLA Plastic Man Aquaman, which was fantastic. A very 90s look. This one is a bit more 90s as well, but with extravagant hair, but it just captures that classic look, which I'm really digging and looks so damn good. Yeah, the paint details are just phenomenal. The different shades of orange just blend in so well. We've seen this body buck used probably like at least 3 times, but I think this is the best, most effective use of the body bucks. It gives such a clean aesthetic, a very classic looking Aquaman. I love these fins on the back of his calves here. They look fantastic. And yeah, it's just a really impressive figure. Let's talk about some articulation on this guy now. I appreciate he probably does have a extended, larger neck peg in the head, in the neck joints, because you get some amazing range of motion with this figure, and the hair doesn't impede the articulation. Like you can get some crazy side attitude going on, no problem. That smirk, looking down, looking up, very well done. He does have the spacer joints here that give you that extra butterfly range of motion. You have the swivel at the bicep, double joint ratcheted elbows, ball joint at the wrist, torso articulation, a little minimal, but man, it goes back really nice. So you get some really nice aquatic diving poses, swimming poses going on. That looks really cool. You do have a ball joint at the waist as well for some added articulation. Ball joints at the hips, double joint ratcheted knees, toe articulation, sculpted ball joints on the ankle, rocker, and pivot. So you got full articulation on this guy. And I don't think you're going to be lacking any articulation to get him in some dynamic action poses, some epic battle poses. It is just really well done. Really well done. Very happy with this Aquaman. We'll just put him here. And then, of course, we got to bring some other Aquamans to see how he fares with some other ones in my collection. I'm pretty sure I got almost everybody in the collection, so to speak. Look at this guy, Trident's Cross. I don't pick up any of the Frostbite or black and white versions or any of the gimmicky figures. It's just not for me. I prefer the original OGs. And man, just seeing these two guys together, you have your Jason Momoa. This is a stellar figure for a kind of movieverse figure. He looks fantastic. They did a great likeness on the head sculpt. The body is really beefy, proportionate. It looks great. And I love all the gold embellishments. We got a gold trident. The trident's a little boring though. That's from the movie though. But it's in a nice casted gold plastic. Still a little warped. I'll give him that. It's still a little warped. But man, seeing these two Aquamans together, they're very distinct and different. So they could be like two different Atlanteans in your collection that maybe wear the classic Aquaman armor, so to speak, right? Maybe he's a royal guard, a soldier, or a high sovereignty character. But I love the fact that we got two Aquamans that are completely different looking and will sit on your shelf and look great together. That is awesome. Really appreciate that. Now, I also want to bring in one of my favorites again. This was a top 10 from our DC Multiverse, top 20 or top 10 of 2024. And that is the JLA kind of classic 90s Attitude Era Aquaman. I love this character again. Extremely distinct and different. We're not getting the same body buck replayed. There's some tooling and differences in this one from the original that look great and just really set it apart. This one had such an amazing head sculpt, beautifully done. The rendition of the armor with all the dents and this very bright popping silver looked great. Of course, the hook hand, fantastic. Man, it's just, we've been kind of spoiled with some incredible Aquaman figures. We don't get a ton, so to speak. You know, he's not like a Batman that gets a figure every kind of assortment. But again, having these two guys together will look great on your Atlantean shelf if you have one. I think I might consider doing that because we got so many distinct Aquaman characters that, man, they just look great together. Absolutely appreciate that. And then one that I'm working on right now, I'm doing some toy surgery on. And this is the Digital Wave Aquaman. As you can tell, big difference between these two. I wanted to bring this guy in. I didn't have time to complete him, but I wanted to bring these two guys in because this is the exact same body block. And this is what some paint apps can really set the figure apart. Now, this brighter orange, metallic orange is what I'm doing to customize the character. This kind of duller orange on the side here is what he originally came with. I'm going to be doing some toy surgery and completing this guy. I'm probably going to add black trunks, darker green, and of course we got a brand new head sculpt on this guy. We added a DC Essentials Aquaman head sculpt, and I really wanted that clean cut Atlantean look. Kind of looks like Captain America. And actually, I tried using this head for a Captain America custom. Fortunately, it doesn't work. The ball pegs on the Marvel Legends sockets are just way too big. Way too big. There's no way in hell this is going to fit on there. But fits on a DC Multiverse. And I really like this brighter orange. We'll see the full completed look for this guy in a toy short and a toy surgery episode. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, I just wanted to bring these two guys in and just show you, man. Different paint apps can make a world of difference. And I can't wait to work on this guy and really set him apart from the other Aquamans. A classic look with just that kind of OG Universe spin on it. So very happy with that. And then I definitely want to bring in another character that I think will suit up well with this guy. We're adding characters to a Justice League, so to speak. And this is my Green Lantern. This is the Green Lantern Corpse body block, and I just put that Silver Age Green Lantern head on it because, man, it just looks like superpower Green Lantern with the higher neck. The collar looks so good, and it went on perfectly. This is, I think, going to be my definitive Green Lantern, my definitive Hal Jordan for sure. And of course, all the interchangeable weapons and accessories look fantastic on this guy. But man, building up your Justice League, you definitely have these two characters in there, and they would look great together. I want to bring in this one as well. This is a Superman that I think has become a lot of people's favorite Superman, and that is the Crisis on Infinite Earths. The body block is spectacular. The white cape, the cloth white cape is phenomenal. Didn't like that head though. The head was just way too big for this body block in my opinion. So we swapped it out with the Action Comics head sculpt. Now, there is another Action Comics head sculpt out there that is a little bit darker in tone and just had some different shading going on. So I didn't like that one. This one is basically as clean cut as you can get. He looks great. This is one of the finest head sculpts. There's no shading on it to any great extent. There's no color difference between the body and the neck. It looks great. And man, seeing these two guys, we're definitely building up a very classic Justice League of America. And man, I love the proportions too. Superman, I expect him to be a little bit taller than Aquaman, but I just like the way these two guys sit. And these guys would definitely throw down and have some epic battles as well. Now, one of the final ones I want to bring in because this one is part of the league here and part of this wave assortment, and that is the Flash. You can see my full review and my thoughts and opinions on this figure, but I just wanted to bring this guy in and make a little guest appearance because he's definitely a great looking buy and definitely one of my favorite versions of Flash. Oh, they killed it on this figure. That head sculpt is spectacular. And now for the guest of honor that we're bringing in, and I would love to see, an epic battle happening between these two. This is the Mattel Masters of the Universe Masterverse Merman. And this is just one of the best figures I've opened up in a long time. It has so many great attributes. I think we're going to do a full review on this guy. I just recently picked up a ton of Masters of the Universe figures, brand new Masterverse figures, Origins, Cartoon Collection, and a bunch of vehicles and the biggest playset that was missing from my childhood. I never had a Castle Grayskull, and I picked up a Castle Grayskull for an amazing price. And man, Masters, every time they produce a new wave of figures, they keep getting better and better. And I appreciate the efforts they're putting into their figures. And just like McFarlane, they produce some of the best toys out there for collectors. Kids, I don't know if kids even buy toys these days. Man, my nephews and niece, they really don't play with toys anymore. And they're at that age where I was still playing with toys. But I think the digital age of, you know, everything else that goes on, playing online games and all that kind of stuff really takes away from your sparking your imagination and having fun with your toys. I don't know, but these two look spectacular together. I love the fact that this one has so much detail, and this one fits in. So I think if we had that older digital version of Aquaman, it wouldn't hold any kind of comparison because it would just be blown out of the water by this merman. But this one, with all the different shading, the effects, looks spectacular and looks really great with this merman. So there you go, guys. So my final thoughts and opinions on this Aquaman. Is it a buy? Is it a pass? Is it, well, I can always customize it. I think this is a stellar Aquaman. I have been blown away by the two figures I've reviewed so far, the Flash and this Aquaman. I can't wait to jump into the Batman and the Superman and of course build up our dark side. That dark side, hopefully my aspirations for a better dark side from the mega size figure will not be crushed and destroyed. Hopefully they fix some of the QC problems. Man, if it's not fixed, at least he looks really good with these darker tones. But man, you got to fix those QC problems and just give people what they want. I think it's a great idea. You missed out on the first dark side. Here's your second chance. So McFarlane, please make sure you fix those QC problems. Definitely pick this Aquaman up. If you're a fan like I am, I have quite a few Aquaman figures, but they're all uniquely distinct and different from each other. Different head sculpts. Man, you can have a full Atlantean guard, so to speak, surrounding your Aquaman that you want to be the king of Atlantis, and I think it would look awesome on your shelf. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have an awesome day. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more reviews. Take care, everyone.